Hi, I'm Cam Ward from the London Contemporary School of Piano, and today we're looking at how to overcome fear of wrong notes. I'm going to split this video today up into three parts. And the first part is rewiring how we hear dissonance, or wrong note, or tension. If you're a fan of our work here at the London Contemporary School of Piano, please head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, and request our free resources kit. It's got all sorts of wicked materials, including things that go alongside our videos here on the channel. So to start with, let's pick two white notes that are next to each other. Let's take this, the C and the D. They're separated by a black note, doesn't matter, C and a D. Now I want us to play each of those notes individually. See, I'm just using a finger to play each note. We're not worrying about the technique here, we're worrying about how it sounds. Really listen to the colour and the quality of what that note provides. How does it feel? Can we play it nice and soft? Can we play it loud and harsh? But what is the colour of that note? Now, rather than them being individual, I want us to bleed the notes together. So we'll play our C, then while it's still ringing, play that D. Notice it bleeds together, it's a different colour. Now the D, and we'll bleed that C in. It might feel a bit uncomfortable and a bit tense, but this is what we're doing, we're rewiring it, we're getting used to it. So C. You might actually love the sound. I love the sound. And then D, and the C. Now let's close that gap a little bit. We're still going to play one after the other, but we're going to play it a bit quicker. And the other way around. And again. And the other way. Notice the rub actually feels a little bit differently depending on how much time you have in between the notes being played together. And finally, let's play them together. Listen to the difference between them playing them individually, blended together, and then together. They're almost completely different brush strokes on a palette. How can we get so much kind of different tonality from the same notes? It's pretty cool. Lovely. Now let's make them a little bit harsher. Those were two white notes next to each other, but separated by a black note. So they were a tone apart. Let's now pick two white notes that are not separated by a black note. Say the E and the F. Now these are just a semitone away from each other. So if I play them now, this will really sound quite striking and harsh. It's definitely something. It's not very easy. I wouldn't like to listen to that on repeat, probably. But again, we're rewiring how we hear it. So let's do the same thing again. Play them separately. The E. Really listen to the quality of that note. Then the F. Same again. Really hear the quality. And different instruments, different keyboards will sound slightly different. You play it on electric pianos, synthesizers, organs. They will sound a little bit different. Get to know what that quality and timbre of your note sounds like. Now, let's blend them in gradually. And the other way around. One more time. And the other way around. Doesn't sound as harsh as it did to start with, does it? Our ears are getting used to it. And again, a bit tighter that gap. And finally, both together. And let's cycle through a few different ones there. Again, all very different, but quite harsh. Now, because we're playing two white notes next to each other, we might think that, they're from the same scale. That feels kind of tonal and safe in a way. So let's fry our brain a little bit by playing a black note and a white note next to each other. It's going to be the same interval, a semitone difference, but you might feel that it's wrong because of the layout of the piano. So let's take our E flat, or D sharp, and our E. Probably sounds and feels harsh again, like our E and F did. But let's do the same thing. Hear them separately. Probably breathing a sigh of relief, thinking, that sounds much better. But again, we're rewiring how we hear dissonance and how we view it. Don't be scared of it. Some of the best music has these tense clusters and clashes in it, because it makes you feel something. Bleed into it. I love that sound. A bit tighter. And finally, together. Now, I don't know about you, but already these sounds are starting to feel a little bit more normal, like their own unique tone, rather than a mistake. It's just like its own unique note, its own unique flavour and colour. If you really want to kind of get your ears used to that tension, just pick a bunch of random two notes a semitone apart clusters and move it around the piano. It might sound a lot like your cat is walking over the piano, but get used to that sound. Maybe do some where you've got a little bit of the gap in between. That could be a whole piece in itself, actually. I can hear it with strings. Maybe I will. So that's the first part we've done today. We've rewired how we're hearing dissonance and tension. Okay, the second part is what I call stepping to safety. One thing I love about teaching here at the London Contemporary School of Piano is helping students such as yourself achieve their potential on the piano. If you'd like to find out more, head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, and drop us an inquiry. Tell us a bit about yourself and we'll get in touch. In all music and in all walks of life, tension and relief is something that we feel all the time. It's something that we really enjoy. We love hearing something that's tense and kind of restrained, and then it gets released, and that's super satisfying. Whether we expect that release or it's unexpected, it doesn't matter. The act of it being released is what we enjoy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take two white notes next to each other again. We're not going to worry about the black notes to start with. Two white notes next to each other. This D and this E, for example. quite a harsh sound. We might quite like it now because we've rewired our ears to hear it, but quite harsh. Now, whenever we have tension, we can always move a tone or a semitone away to get a release. Now watch what happens when I release this D down to the C. You hear that? It almost makes the tension of that rub make sense. It's going somewhere, it's leading somewhere. Let's do the same thing, but rather than moving the D down, we'll move the E up. Kind of that darkness and light, super interesting. Let's try it with some other kind of combinations of white notes next to each other. This A and B. Or the other way. Let's do this, F and G. Or the other way. Let's do a couple more. And I'll alternate between my hands. It all made sense. Even though if I accidentally, say I was improvising or playing something, I accidentally kind of crunch two notes together, I can always just resolve one by moving it simply a step. It makes sense. Okay, I've made it make sense. It sounds intentional. And in a way, it is. Now, the best improvisers and players in all genres of music never play a perfect gig. You might be surprised to hear that. I've played many shows, and I don't think I've ever played a perfect gig. There'd always be something where I think, oh, I played the wrong note there, or I messed that up. But they are actually often the bits that people come up and say to me afterwards, oh, I loved what you did there. That was really interesting. That was new, and that was fresh. But what it was a mistake, which I then made correct, just from stepping in the right direction and making it feel intentional. That was using the white note just there. What happens if we're playing in the key of C major? Just using the white notes, and I hit a black note. Ooh. Most of the time we'd freeze up and kind of stop and say, oh, I've messed up, have to start again. Or you hope no one heard it. Ooh. How can I make that sound correct? Now again, the act of stepping is very powerful. We're going to play a white note, or when we've clanged that black note next to it, all I have to do is step, and even then, if that feels too harsh, guess what? I can step again. Okay, you can keep stepping. It doesn't have to just be a one step. You can have a two step, a three step. And then that kind of clash and that tension, that mistake, has become a really nice leading counter melody. Sounds lovely. So let's give that a go. Now, as the exercise we're going to practice here, we're going to intentionally play some of those clangers, some of those black notes. actually create some interesting kind of almost bluesy vibes. So I'm going to improvise now just using the notes from C major. Okay, I can create some chords, I can create some lines, some counterlines, and I'm going to force myself to occasionally play one of those wrong notes. And then I'm going to make it sound correct. Now, some of them you might sound a bit harsh, a bit out there. That's the beauty of music. There are no rules. Let's see what happens. It makes sense. I was forcing myself to play those challenging notes, and I had to find the way out of them. By practicing putting yourself in these scenarios, when you then come to improvise or play and perform, you're not worried. You've dealt with it, you've stress tested it. You might have made the mistake, but you can make it make sense. If you're a fan of our work here at the London Contemporary School of Piano, please head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, and request our free resources kit. It's got all sorts of wicked materials, including things that go alongside our videos here on the channel. The kind of third part is the idea that repetition equals intention. Okay, the best players will often play a note that surprised them, but then they stick with it, they use it, they make it a motif, and then us as the listener just assume it was intentional all along, when actually it surprised them quite a lot. They've made a mistake, but it wasn't wrong. It was just how the music went. So let's try something where we're going to play C major chord in our left hand. Now we know all of the notes from our C major scale sound wonderful over that chord. The black notes don't sound wonderful over that chord. Maybe they do. I quite like the sound, but often it's seen as tense and wrong, a bit dark. So I'm going to play a phrase and then force myself to land on one of the black notes. Now, rather than instantly trying to move straight away and back into the kind of C major, I'm going to lean into that note. I'm going to use it, repeat it, maybe make it into a motif, and kind of view how quickly your ear turns that into being correct. It wouldn't have been right any other way, okay? Sounded right, didn't it, at the end? It also makes that kind of resolution that much sweeter. Give it a go and see how that feels. Some of them you might end up really liking and adding into your vocabulary. Some of them you might not, and that's fine. That's taste. That's musical taste. Let's now try it again. I'm going to add kind of a bit of a bass line in my left hand, just kind of octaves and the fifth. We're very comfortable here in the C major. made a mistake, but it sounded great. One more. Okay. Notice how we're practicing the art of playing the wrong note. So when we actually then play it, we don't get flustered, okay? We're kind of hearing how it can morph our musical ideas rather than restrict them and derail them, okay? Have a go and see what sounds you like, what tensions you are able to then play with and without. Now, a really interesting piece of music that I love is Bill Evans' Peace Piece, which just keeps going with this lovely, lilting, it's gorgeous. Just kind of moves between two chords of that C and like G7 or G7 sus. Now for a lot of this tune, I recommend checking out and listening. He uses very tonal sounds in his improvising, using the notes from the C major scale. It's also interesting to listen, because this left hand he plays in it isn't actually strictly in time. You can't put a metronome to it, it jumps around all over the place, but it doesn't matter, it just sounds great. And somewhere kind of towards the second third of this improvisation, rather than playing white notes, he ends up playing some black notes. Now, whether this was entirely intentional, who knows? But he sticks with it. And it might sound striking to start with, kind of. But by the end, you love it, and then he resolves it. And you just think, what a genius bit of harmony. What a raw bit of emotion that he's played with there. But it could have been a mistake that he made sound correct through this idea of stepping or repeating it. So I'm going to play a little bit now, and I'm going to be in the kind of C major, this very tonal space. Then occasionally I'm going to play a rogue black note. I'm going to force myself to get used to that discomfort and use some of the methods we spoke about today to make it sound correct. There I was playing some absolute clangers, but I actually made the music so much richer, I felt, in the end. Give it a go, over any chord progression, see how it feels, get used to it. Don't be scared of that dissonance. Don't be scared to play the wrong note, reframe it, not as a mistake, but just as a different kind of fork in the road in which your music's going to take. One thing I love about teaching here at the London Contemporary School of Piano is helping students such as yourself achieve their potential on the piano. If you'd like to find out more, head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, and drop us an inquiry. Tell us a bit about yourself and we'll get in touch.